Outside of the top European leagues, it could be argued that the Championship is the greatest league in the world for developing young players. Many years ago, you had the likes of Wilfried Zaha, Gareth Bale and Theo Walcott all make their first professional appearances in the Championship. Then in the modern era, we've seen Jude Bellingham, Eberechi Eze and Michael Olise also learn their trade in the second division. And even more recently, the likes of Joe Bellingham, Adam Wharton, Romain Esse and Alex Scott made the jump into the big leagues, with deals which total to near on £100 million. With such talent breaking through, there's never been so much attention being directed towards the Championship, and clubs are certainly being rewarded with the hefty prices being paid. So, in this video, I'm going to look into the many reasons why I feel the Championship is producing so many world-class talents. Whilst at the end of the video, I will highlight the current Championship players who I feel will be the next talents to make a big money move. When young talents have a desire to make the step up into the big boy leagues, for me, there is no better place in the world than the Championship for them to prove their worth. Without question, this league is one of the most physically demanding around. Fixtures come thick and fast and there's no place for hiding, with every fixture offering a chance for either team to pick up 3 points. And with such a stacked calendar, players who are able to consistently perform and be available are making a statement to the top clubs that they can make the transition upwards. In the Championship, clubs will often play 3 matches within just a 7-day period, even go into less days during the Christmas period. And with every game being so competitive, it can certainly have a mental impact on young players. The greatest example I can give to support these statements stems from England's all-time leading goalscorer, Harry Kane, who stated that his loan spell at Millwall helped him grow from a boy into a man. Kane afterwards went on to have lacklustre loan spells at Norwich and Leicester, so this again highlights how tough the Championship is. Another reason to why I feel the Championship is producing world-class talents is based off the club's exceptional attendance records. More often than not, Premier League matches are sold out week after week, and so with the Championship offering passionate large crowds, this provides great experience for young players to perform, whilst testing their character in moments of support and frustration shown by fans. These statements are certainly backed by statistics, with the Championship averaging the 7th highest attendances across all European leagues, and the 2nd highest in the world only behind to Germany when focusing on second divisions. When young players make the jump into the top leagues, they will not only face scrutiny across the terraces, but there's also added pressure through increased televised games, famous pundits waiting to pounce, while social media backlash is certainly a feature which I feel young players will delve into, especially if their names are trending after uninspiring performances. So ultimately, yes, I do feel like the Championship is a good yardstick for players to grow in character, as well as allowing first division clubs to gather a base on the player's attitude. The next topic of discussion is tactics. Throughout the history of the Championship, it's been proven that there's no certain blueprint in order to make the dream become a reality through promotion to the Premier League. Teams have managed to get promoted through playing both the beautiful and ugly way. You had Leeds last season who were able to dominate possession, Burnley who trusted their defence to keep slender leads, and if we go a few years back, you had the likes of Luton who averaged the 7th lowest possession stats in the league, as they focus on hitting teams on the counter with efficient wing-backs like Doughty and 2 big men up top from Morris and Adebayo. With varied philosophies being shown across the league, this brings a fantastic base for top teams to assess a player's tactical profile. If players want to play in the top European leagues, they need to show more than just athleticism. Clubs will look for a player who can show good decision-making skills, remain disciplined within their role, whilst also adapting to their managers' and teammates' needs dependent on the state of play. And when we focus on particular positions, top clubs are certainly looking for young defenders who can not only defend, but play out from the back. A good example stems from Ben White, who after having a successful loan spell at Leeds, Arsenal saw enough from him in the Championship alone to pay Brighton £50 million. When looking higher up the pitch, top clubs will be looking for players who not only show a good output on paper, but they must also display that star quality which hints that they can excel when faced up against, ultimately, tougher opponents. The one which really stands out to me is Michael Olise, who remarkably went from Reading to Bayern Munich in just 3 seasons. Again, this shows the power of the Championship. Without question, England's second tier has certainly produced some exceptional homegrown talents. But it's important for us to acknowledge that they've also got a lot to thank for towards their European neighbours. Gone are the days where Championship clubs placed all of their focus towards the lower leagues within the English pyramid. You'll often now see clubs signing players from Scandinavian countries, whilst Belgium, Germany and the Netherlands have all proven to be successful additions. After Brentford successfully explored the European market to gain promotion into the Premier League, I do believe it started a trend as it opened up the eyes to the rest of the division, which is that gems can be bought without having to get involved in bidding wars against fellow league rivals. With Championship clubs receiving big fees for their players, this will naturally then lead to them being able to spend more money, especially when compared to any other second division league in the world. And combining this with players being offered life-changing wages, it's fair to say that the Championship gains a head start against their rivals when it comes to developing world-class players. Additionally, it could be argued that top European clubs have such financial power, they've become comfortable with allowing Championship clubs to recruit talents as they'll then strike once the player has proven their worth. Owners of top clubs would get crucified by their fans if they started signing players for under 5 million, as there's an expectation to sign ready-made players who can impact outcomes immediately. I think the best cheap signing which has happened in recent years came from Brighton, who signed Caicedo for 4 million and then sold him for over 100. But these events are certainly rare. So yes, Championship clubs are not only producing their own grassroots talents, but now their reputation is growing even further, with recruitment teams expanding their search for players worldwide. We now move into the part of the video where I'll tell you who I think will be the next stars to come out of the Championship. And I'm going to start off with Sheffield United's Harrison Burrows. This is a player who arrived from Peterborough, which is certainly a good omen, with the likes of Ivan Toney and Dwight Gale going on to achieve great spells in the Premier League after leaving the League One club. Burrows nearly reached the Premier League with Sheffield United last season, but his side faded away towards the latter stages. Harrison Burrows is a player who not only offers a goal threat, but he can play anywhere across the left-hand side. And with him already accumulating 44 assists at just 23 years of age, I'm certain that Premier League clubs will come sniffing soon. The next player who I believe is destined for a big move is Millwall's Serbian striker Mihailo Ivanovic. Ivanovic has an interesting background, as he's already played in a top European league with Sampdoria, albeit it was a short cameo off the bench against Napoli. After going on a successful scoring run last season, Ivanovic is already attracting interest from clubs all around Europe, and it doesn't come as a surprise to me. Heading is a dying art in football, as teams tend to focus on keeping possession rather than taking risks, and crosses fall into that category. But Ivanovic is a player who carries such heading prowess that any team he plays for should view this as a world-class threat. But beyond this trait, his goal catalogue was exceptional, as he scored a vast range of goals, and many of these were match winners, which suggests he will be a big game player. He's still got a lot to prove, especially when playing as a lone striker, but I have no doubt that we'll be seeing Ivanovic lead the line for Serbia soon, after making a big money move. There are many players who I could delve further into in the Championship, but it would turn into a separate video. But I want to quickly highlight Hayden Hackney, Tom Fellows and Tommy Conway, as again, players who I believe all of which will be playing in a top European league sooner rather than later. So in conclusion, it's fair to say that Championship clubs are producing a talent factory which is well respected globally. And clubs are beginning to reap the rewards as those higher up the food chain are going into their deep pockets. Championship clubs are still placing an emphasis on their academies to produce the next lotto ticket without having to spend a penny. But there is clear evolution amongst clubs as they look to recruit stars from abroad. Please do let me know your thoughts in the comments. Do you agree that the Championship is the perfect league to prep young players for the next step? And also, let me know if you think I've missed any players which you believe will break through this upcoming season. Thank you for watching.